Welcome, seekers of truth, to another epic journey into the dark shadows of our ancient past. History remembers Alexander the Great as the ultimate conqueror of the known world. But what if I told you his mighty, legendary empire was actually built by another man's hands? Meet Philip II of mighty Macedon, the forgotten architect who forged the deadly war machine. Today we will expose the brutal truth behind the ultimate stolen glory in human history. In the blazing deserts of Asia, Alexander stands victorious, worshipped as a living god. His golden armor shines brightly, a blinding symbol of unparalleled youth and absolute triumph. The world bows before this brilliant commander, chanting his name across conquered territories. Yet the grand theater of history is profoundly unjust to those who quietly set the stage. While the young king enjoys the spotlight, a dark phantom watches silently from the cold shadows. This phantom is his own father, Philip II, a man heavily scarred by endless brutal wars. Look closely at this forgotten king, missing an eye, his body broken by countless fierce battles. Alexander was a privileged heir, a royal son who comfortably started at the finish line. But Philip was the ruthless visionary mastermind who actually built that glorious line. To understand this monumental theft of glory, we must journey back to a time before the legend. Let us return to the harsh mountains of ancient Macedon, long before it became a mighty empire. When Philip first took the royal throne, his kingdom was nothing but a fragile, impoverished wasteland. Surrounded by bloodthirsty enemies, the land was constantly raided by fierce barbarian tribes. To the proud philosophers of Athens, the Macedonians were merely uncultured savages.
He ought to be silent.
The proud Greek city-states looked down upon them, dismissing Philip as a weak, irrelevant king.
We hold the power here.
But they underestimated the terrifying genius operating within his calculated mind.
Put your sweat into this metal.
Philip soon realized that to survive, he had to restructure the very fabric of his society.
Until the dust chokes you.
He transformed simple peasants into the most disciplined, lethal military force in the whole world. According to ancient historians, he revolutionized warfare on the bloody battlefield. He unleashed the Macedonian Phalanx, a terrifying formation of absolute destruction. He armed his heavily trained infantry with massive wooden pikes known as the deadly Sarissa. Stretching 6 meters long, these heavy weapons created an impenetrable wall of sharp iron. He relentlessly drilled his soldiers, marching them tirelessly under the scorching summer sun. No longer a disorganized mob, they moved gracefully as a devastating mechanical monster. All the while, a young Alexander watched from afar, absorbing every lesson of supreme power. The boy witnessed his father forge a kingdom of iron, learning the brutal mathematics of war. But Philip was not just a warrior, he was an absolute master of political deception. Capturing the incredibly wealthy gold mines of Mount Pangaion, he funded his grand ambitions. He flooded corrupt Athenian assemblies with shiny gold, buying the loyalty of greedy men. Where warfare failed, he used calculated diplomacy and royal marriages to gain full control. He played the arrogant Greek city-states against each other, watching them slowly tear themselves apart. If you were handed a fractured and dying kingdom, would you have the ruthless will to forge an empire? This requires absolute sacrifice, something the brilliant Philip understood better than anyone. Then came the decisive, epic Battle of Chaeronea, where Greek freedom finally died. Philip's heavy cavalry, the famous hammer, crushed the enemy lines against the unyielding anvil. Young Alexander led the crucial cavalry charge, but the flawless battle plan belonged to Philip. Athens and Thebes were utterly broken, forced to kneel before the mighty one-eyed Macedonian wolf. By achieving the impossible, Philip united all of Greece under his undisputed hegemony. The savage backyard of the world had become an unstoppable superpower of antiquity. Historian Diodorus tells us that Philip achieved a level of power completely unseen. With Greece firmly under his command, Philip set his solitary eye on a much larger prize. He dreamed of invading the massive Persian Empire, a glorious campaign to avenge ancient Greek wrongs. Every single detail of the grand invasion was planned by his exceptional strategic mind. The royal treasury was overflowing with glittering gold, ready to sustain a bloody conflict. The most terrifying military machine ever assembled stood at the absolute edge of Asia. All that remained was for the veteran commander to confidently give the order to march forward.
Today we claim our destiny.
But destiny is an incredibly cruel mistress, even to those who construct the greatest empires. In the hot summer of 336 BC, a grand royal wedding took place in Aigai. Philip walked proudly into the grand theatre, bathed in the radiant glow of his absolute power. He wore a brilliant white cloak, looking like a mortal man who had successfully conquered the furious gods. He ordered his loyal bodyguards to step away, a fatal display of his unquestionable confidence. Suddenly, a royal bodyguard named Pausanias violently lunged from the cheering crowd. With a swift and terrifying motion, he plunged a cold iron dagger deeply into the great king's chest. The architect of mighty Macedon collapsed onto the cold stone, fading away in his moment of glory. The entire royal court erupted into absolute chaos, their screams piercing the suddenly darkened sky. Was this tragic assassination a simple act of revenge, or a dark conspiracy led by his son? Scholars strongly suspect that Alexander and his ambitious mother cleverly guided the blade.
We must be quick.
Regardless of the hidden truth, the catastrophic result was immediate and altered history. A 20-year-old Alexander stepped over his father's fallen form to finally claim the royal throne. He did not hesitate for a single moment, grasping the heavy crown with cold, calculating ambition. He inherited a flawless state, a massive treasury, and an unstoppable veteran army. He picked up the detailed tactical blueprints that Philip had spent a lifetime carefully drawing. Like a privileged son handed the keys to a devastating supercar, he started the engine. He pointed his father's magnificent 6-meter spears toward the heart of the Persian Empire. Alexander possessed brilliant tactics, moving his forces with terrifying, unmatched speed. He shattered the massive armies of King Darius, painting the dusty Asian plains with vibrant Persian blood. Wealthy city after city fell before his absolute might, from the coast of Egypt to India. He unraveled the Gordian knot, declaring himself the absolute master of the entire continent. But as we watch him stand triumphantly upon the ashes of Persepolis, we must ask a question. Could this golden boy have achieved any of this without the brutal sacrifices of his father? The brutal truth is that Alexander swung the bloody sword, but Philip was the one who expertly forged it. When the Macedonian phalanx crushed an enemy line, it was Philip's brilliant mind executing the blow. Every time the companion cavalry delivered the fatal strike, it was Philip's design at work. Alexander successfully reaped a grand harvest, but it was Philip who painfully plowed the rocky soil. The young king became immortalized in countless statues, celebrated as the pinnacle of human achievement. Yet, behind his perfect marble visage lies the rugged, scarred face of a one-eyed Macedonian warlord. Without Philip's grand work, Alexander would only inherit a weak and divided kingdom. He might have spent his entire life fighting off barbarian raids, completely unknown to history. Instead, he became the Great, burying his father's massive contributions beneath his own dazzling legend. This is the tragedy of Philip II, the engineer completely overshadowed by the driver. He lived a life of relentless hardship, only to have his grandest victory violently stolen at the end. History books always praise the beautiful flower, entirely forgetting the bloody roots beneath the earth. But those who understand the complex art of war recognize the true magnitude of Philip's dark genius. He took a collection of despised shepherds and transformed them into the masters of the known universe. So, the next time you hear the glorious tales of Alexander's unmatched, sweeping conquests in Asia, take a moment to look past the blinding golden armor and see the heavy, dark shadows stretching behind him. Acknowledge the one-eyed king sitting quietly in the dark, the true architect of the terrifying empire. For without the heavy, calloused, bloody hands of the father, the son would never have touched the divine stars. Alexander is merely the dazzling reflection of Philip's ruthless, unparalleled strategic brilliance. Their story serves as a profound reminder that ultimate glory is rarely built by those who wear the crown. It is forged in the grueling fires of absolute necessity by those who are pushed into the shadows. The Macedonian war machine was not a miracle, it was a true masterpiece of grueling engineering. Its true creator paid the ultimate, tragic price, leaving his masterpiece for another man to drive away. The phantom of Philip forever haunts the vast battlefields of Asia, silently demanding his stolen recognition. Will you continue to blindly worship the golden boy, or will you finally honor the scarred king who built him? The blood-soaked soil of ancient battlefields still whispers the forgotten name of the one true mastermind. As we finally gaze upon the seemingly endless expanse of the conquered, broken Persian Empire, we witness the terrifying culmination of a grand vision that was never Alexander's own. He merely executed a flawless tactical equation written by a much wiser, hardened man. Every single golden coin he spent on his extravagant Asian campaigns came from Philip's mines. Every disciplined veteran who marched across the desert was entirely trained by his strict father. The brilliant hammer and anvil tactic was a beautiful, deadly dance born in Macedonia. Alexander was a magnificent battlefield commander, possessing absolute fearlessness. But a great commander is useless without a perfectly functioning, loyal army to lead. Philip transformed a nation of helpless shepherds into an unbreakable wall of sharp bronze and iron. He suffered horrific physical injuries, sacrificing his own body to build a mighty state. The deep, ugly scar across his ruined right eye was the heavy price paid for absolute power. Meanwhile, the golden boy remained unblemished, a divine figure of pure aesthetic beauty. This stark contrast is why historians and poets naturally gravitated toward the shining sun. Humans are instinctively drawn to the radiant, blinding light, easily ignoring the dark, heavy roots. But without those deep, bloody roots firmly gripping the harsh earth, the massive tree would instantly collapse. When Philip fell fatally onto the cold stone floor at his daughter's tragic, chaotic royal wedding, he did not just lose his life, he tragically lost his rightful place in the annals of immortality. His unstoppable war engine was instantly hijacked by a fiercely ambitious young driver. And this driver furiously pushed the glorious machine to the very limits of the known ancient world. He crossed massive, raging rivers and shattered towering mountain fortresses with terrifying ease. But we must remember that the heavy, deadly spear he threw was carefully carved by Philip's hands. The magnificent, conquering fire that burned brightly across Asia was ignited by a one-eyed king. So let us finally correct this deep injustice, this massive historical oversight of epic scale. Let us finally elevate the forgotten architect from the dark shadows of his son's immense glory. Let us acknowledge the profound genius of a man who built a mighty empire out of absolutely nothing. Philip II was not merely a stepping stone, he was the entire, solid foundation of the world. He was the unyielding anvil upon which the magnificent legend of Alexander was heavily struck. History is written by the glorious victors, but true empires are built by the silent, suffering workers. The Phantom of Macedon will forever stand as the mastermind of ancient military dominance. His incredible legacy lives on, quietly echoing through the terrifying clash of bronze shields. The great architect may be forgotten by most, but his brutal war machine changed humanity forever. Was Alexander truly great, or just a lucky heir riding his father's mighty, bloody war machine? Please share your thoughts in the comments below. Who really deserves the ultimate crown of history? If you enjoyed this deep dive, please like, share, and subscribe for more epic historical truths.